Welcome to Lanterns Live. It's Ralph, and this is a last-minute emergency stream because Jeff Jensen from Vanity Fair has released an article titled "When Green Lanterns Becomes True Detective: Meet HBO's Pulpy Prestige Lanterns." And we got our first image of Pierre as John Stewart and Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan. And I am very excited. This is just one image. It's not a lot to talk about, and I'm doing it on my own. So hopefully the chat starts picking up and we can start getting opinions on this. I will tell you one thing right off the bat. Ever since Kyle Chandler was announced as Green Lantern, I'd heard a lot of Green Lantern fans being very upset about him being cast as Hal Jordan, considering his age. And I got to say right now, that's all gone away because this dude looks like Hal Jordan. I don't care what anybody says. He doesn't look too old. I mean, it looks like he looks around the age of like Ivan Reis or Tyler Kirkham, Hal Jordan, which is fine. He looks terrific. Pierre obviously looks amazing. The haircut's great. What's funny is leading up to this image, I was just talking about this on Reddit last night. I'm new on Reddit. Will Smith over at Green Lanterns podcast told me, he's like, hey, you need to get over on Reddit. So I've decided that I'm only using Reddit for my Green Lantern stuff so I could keep up on news and info that's coming out. The most recent post on Kyle Chandler was he had the beard and he looked like Earth 1 version of Hal Jordan. And I was like, oh man, we haven't seen a modern picture, a more updated picture of Kyle Chandler. I hope he doesn't have the beard. And sure enough, like 5 minutes later, Will sends me this image from Vanity Fair. I am super excited. I know it's not a lot to go off of, but I have read the article. I had Siri read it to me while I was getting ready for the show, and I have some information about it. Jeff Jensen, who I should probably reach out to, he's a buddy of ours. He is in the movie that I produced called Getting Lost. It's a documentary about Lost. Comes out on demand on Saturday. So a little bit of a plug. Check that out on Saturday at gettinglostdoc.com. Okay, back to Green Lantern. Looking at this image, it's pretty cool. It definitely looks like Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Great. According to the article, we haven't really learned many new things. We get some blurbs from the creators, Tom King, Damon Lindelof, Chris Mundy, and it does seem like they're really leaning into the Earthbound story. Clearly, these guys right now are walking when a Green Lantern doesn't need to walk ever. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Hal is wearing his power ring. So the power rings are around. Whether they have power or not, I don't know. There was a mention in the Vanity Fair article that had me a little bit concerned, was that one of the creators mentioned that this show is more about who these guys are outside of the uniforms, outside of the costumes, which I hope that just means we get to learn who they are as people and that we don't get their uniforms at all. I mean, if you're going to make a Green Lantern show, if Sinestro is going to be in it, because Sinestro is mentioned in here again, Sinestro will be in the show, like, please give us Green Lantern costumes. As much as I love this image, give us Green Lantern costumes. I'm hoping they're not saying like their costumes won't be in it. It's just we're going to learn who these guys are. That's fine. It's also noted in the Vanity Fair article that this takes place in Nebraska. I don't know if we knew that before. I think we've heard definitely the heartland of the United States. So this is flat out saying this takes place in Nebraska. Other stories have said that it takes place in a town that has now just become sort of this breeding ground for metahumans or for superpowered people, or just like getting superpowers in this small town out of nowhere. And the Green Lanterns go to investigate, which is kind of cool. It does make it sound like this article says that again, John Stewart is a rookie, and Hal Jordan is essentially on his way out, like he's retiring or something. He's definitely not part of the Green Lantern Corps. The way this picture looks, his hair's messed up. Hal Jordan's hair's messed up. He looks a little disheveled. We've been told that since casting, they've been looking for a more grizzled, mature Hal Jordan. That's what we're seeing here. I don't know if he's being pulled out of retirement or if he's putting on the ring again. I don't know what is. Yeah. Stevie's in the chat. Stevie's my wife. She says, we've been to Nebraska. It's true. I've been to Nebraska. I don't know if this looks like Nebraska. This looks like Southern California, but whatever. It's fine. I don't know how many TV shows they shoot in Nebraska, but yeah, it does take place in Nebraska. So that's information that's new to me. Let's talk about what makes this image really a Green Lantern image, because this looks like Hard Traveling Heroes. This looks like Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, like Hard Traveling Heroes era, like boots on the ground Green Lantern. But let's take a look at this ring. I zoomed in on this Vanity Fair image at the ring, so it's a little pixelated, but we do have a really good look at what the ring looks like. So as we mentioned in Will and I mentioned on a recent episode where we were talking about the James Gunn footage from Super Bowl Sunday of Guy Gardner, that Guy Gardner's ring looked like one of the props from 2011 Green Lantern. It didn't look like this, but also it may look like this. I don't know. As far as the Guy Gardner ones goes, but this is a pretty clear shot. Yes, it's pixelated because I zoomed in and did a screenshot, but we can get a pretty good feel how the Green Lantern ring looks. It looks like it's mostly metal with a green emerald in the center, which is a little bit different than we've seen in the books and then we've seen in like other live action Green Lantern. So this is a little bit of a different look that we've seen there. It almost reminds me of a lot of there's a lot of places that make custom jewelry, and a lot of those custom jewelry Green Lantern rings have this kind of a look where it's like a mostly like pewter or metal look with a green gem in the middle. Not a huge fan of this, but who cares? I mean, it's a Green Lantern ring. Like, it looks like a Green Lantern ring. Stevie says she likes the metal. It doesn't look cheap. The metal's, yeah, it's so hard because like the movie one, I have the plastic version, and the movie one might be plastic as well. But yeah, let me see if I can get someone in here. I really, it's hard to do these on my own. And my friend Jonathan just sent me this thing. I've seen the picture, guys. Like, unless the Green Lantern news, if the Green Lantern news is more than 5 minutes old, I already know about it. So friends are now texting me the image, which I have already set up a live stream and I'm going live and talking about it. But here's the thing. We have a new ring. So for collectors out there, for those who have like these sort of plasticky rubber rings, for those that have like the 2011 movie props, for people who have fan-made rings that are more comic accurate, we finally have like an actual like new Green Lantern ring that hopefully they release through like, I don't know, whoever makes props like Sideshow or Hot Toys or something. Speaking of which, like, I would love, I'm already like, if this show is somewhat popular, if this show does well enough, I would want a Hot Toys of these figures. I'm wondering if Stevie would. I mean, they cost so much and they're such a splurge, and it's just toys, but at the same time, like, I'd be willing to sell some of my Green Lantern stuff or some of my Star Wars stuff to get like an Aaron Pierre Hot Toys Green Lantern figure if they're in the costumes. I need to see the costumes. The fact that the article says that we get to learn more about these guys outside of their uniforms, it's really, really concerning to me. Scott D is in the chat. He says, looking forward to the show. Hey, Ralph, curious to see how they do his constructs. I am as well. The 2011 constructs I never really liked. They didn't look like light. They look more like flubber. They look like a gel or like a stained glass. When we looked at the trailer for Superman, we got to see Guy Gardner use a construct. He blocked out the windows in that building, and it looked like light coming out of his lantern ring. So I'm hoping they're keeping that continuity. From the article that Jeff Jensen wrote in Vanity Fair for that, accompanied this picture, he said that the show seems separate from what James Gunn is doing. So kind of like how the Batman isn't tying into the DCU. He said that this show is on its own and it works as one complete story for this season, with the ability to create more seasons and mini seasons if they're lucky. So it sounds like this is a self-contained thing, doesn't have to do with like what's going on in Superman, but we keep hearing reports in like places like Vanity Fair, or maybe not Vanity Fair, but we did hear in another article that Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner would appear in this show. So I don't know which it is. Based on this image, it doesn't have like the light, bright quality or hopefulness that that Superman has. So I don't know if these guys will exist in it or not. Right now, they're saying it doesn't, but that doesn't mean it can't. So we'll see. We'll see how it looks. But I'm thinking that the way the Guy Gardner construct looks in the Superman trailer is really cool. So to answer Scott D's question, like I'm hoping their constructs look like that, almost like lightsabers, where it's like white glowing light with green sort of outer glow, to speak in Photoshop terms, which I know Scott would understand. So yeah, like this is there's a lot of questions, but just yesterday on Lanterns Live with the Green Lanterns podcast, Will Smith, we literally just talked about how I just want to see an image from the production of these guys, and here it is the next day. So looking forward to everything involved with the show. This little image, this stupid one image of just two guys is so perfect. Aaron Pierre's hair is straight out of the comic books. John Stewart, Kyle Chandler's hair looks like a messy Hal Jordan. I like the jacket, the jeans. Like, yeah, if Actor's in here, dude, he'll be joining me on a future episode of Lanterns Live. I'll be joining him on a future episode of This Comic Cooks. Lindelof and his team nails it. It sounded like, according to the article, it sounded like Lindelof came in a little bit later after Tom King's story and Chris Mundy was brought on board. But Lindelof, it sounded like he jumped at the chance. And so I'm super excited about his inclusion into the show. I feel like his storytelling is really good. And you know, if there's anybody that I trust with with Green Lanterns, like Damon Lindelof is up there. The first show he ever did was Lost. And when they were doing press at Comic-Con for the show Lost in 2004, he was wearing a Green Lantern shirt. And keep in mind, that's prior to Jeff Johns' rebirth. This is when like Green Lantern wasn't like the best. It was just Kyle. Shortbox Sean is here. He says this is going to be great. I agree. I'm so excited. The fact that they're showing an image so early gives me hope that this is something that they really, really are looking forward to promoting. And if that's the case, then great. It seems, I mean, I know the actors are working on this. It's a job. They're appreciative of the job, but a lot of them are saying that, you know, this is like the best sci-fi script they've ever read. And so fingers crossed that they're actually like being honest and they're not just saying that, or I don't know what their history is with sci-fi scripts, but I'm very, very excited about that. This is just, again, one image, no costumes. I highly recommend you head over to Vanity Fair and read Jeff Jensen's article. Jeff, I might be able to reach out to Jeff and see if he'd want to come on the show sometime, and talk about what he learned with his conversations with Damon Lindelof, Tom King, and Chris Mundy, and about the show in general. If there's anything he could say beyond the article, that would be great to sort of pick his brain. But yeah, let's get some thoughts in the chat. Let me know what you guys think of this. I'll bring up this one again just so you people can see the ring. Man, I am really excited about this. It's a Green Lantern. Like I've been waiting forever. Like it's been, I mean, Stargirl had a live action Jade, but man, like it's been since 2011 since we got like any sort of live action Green Lantern news or set pictures or anything like that. So yeah, here it is. There it is. That is unmistakably John Stewart and Hal Jordan. Anybody who was giving any kind of hate to Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan, I think maybe you should think about like giving things chances before you start firing off, because I think that this is he looks amazing, and he looks like Hal Jordan, and yeah. And then the only thing else I have to say really is that they mentioned like a couple times in the article, a couple of the creators were talking about Kyle Chandler and his performance and how he's going to bring a lot of clout to this series, that he's a great job and that he's got a really good dry wit, which I think is, they both mentioned, which is great for the character. It sounds like Hal Jordan's still going to have that sort of sharp wit, a little sarcastic, maybe not as over the top as Ryan Reynolds, but yeah. Scott D says probably was too early to know who's scoring it. It is very early to know who's scoring it. I talked to my friend Mick Giacchino, who did the score for Skeleton Crew and the Penguin, and I told him, I said, dude, do what you can to get on Lanterns. I said, your Penguin score is amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out, go listen to the score for Penguin. It's on Mutant. Mutant is just did the pre-orders for it on vinyl. So yeah. Tall Space Turtle says, just found this channel 5 minutes ago via Reddit. It's so funny because Will Smith over at Green Lanterns podcast told me, Ralph, if you get on Reddit, people will find your show. And so literally yesterday I went on Reddit. So Tall Space Turtle, thanks for I'm glad you found the channel. Thanks for swinging by. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you're over on Reddit, it means you're following like Green Lantern pages. Like that's all I'm following on Reddit is like 3 or 4 Green Lantern pages. So let me know what you think of this image in the chat, and maybe we can get a few opinions out there. If you haven't shared your opinion in the chat, let me know what you think of this image. If you're not a diehard Green Lantern fan, you might be saying like, Ralph, it's just a picture of 2 guys. Yeah, so Tall Space Turtle is just so damn pumped. Yeah, dude, like, I mean, we knew what these guys look like. We already knew what these guys look like. But now we know what they look like wearing these clothes and that ring. And that's what makes this Green Lantern, and that's why I'm covering this on Lanterns Live. I want to thank everybody for showing up. For those of you that didn't make it live, sound off in the comments your thoughts on the costume or on the, I guess they're still costumes, but they're not like superhero costumes. They're not Green Lantern uniforms. Let me know what you think of the image. I think it's wonderful. It reminds me of Hard Traveling Heroes. If this show sort of conjures up that era of Green Lantern, I'm totally fine. Yeah. Stevie, the GL fans don't get a lot to get excited about. This is cool. It's true. Stevie, my wife, I love her to death. We've been together since 1999. So she's been with me like through like all of the ups and downs of Green Lantern. And so for me, to get this kind of news this morning becomes a big event in the house. And so I sent her the image, and she said, wow, those are handsome guys. And then I said, did you see the ring? And she said, oh, I didn't even think about it. And she like zoomed in, and she's like, oh, there's the ring. It's so like Green Lantern fans, like this little many pixels in one picture makes all the difference. So this is the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. This little tiny blurry bit of an image is what gets me online to do a whole live show for 20 minutes, because that is amazing. As a Green Lantern fan, I've been waiting for that since 2011, and here it is, and it's happening. I've always said I won't believe that they're actually working on a Green Lantern show until I see set pictures, and here we are. We got set pictures. So until next time, I don't know when we're going to get a next bit of Green Lantern news, but when it drops, I will be here doing another show. Thanks for everybody joining me in the live chat. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. I think we're only like 3 away from 300, which is, I think, is pretty good amount of followers since I started this show in August. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. And if you missed the show live, again, go comment down below and make sure you hit the bell icon. That's important. Hit the bell icon on YouTube, because it'll notify you when I go live, and you never know when that's going to happen. I didn't wake up today thinking that I'd be doing another episode of the show, but here we are. So hit the bell icon. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. And until next time, beware my podcast. It's Lanterns Live. Bye.